All right, let's go.
All right, let me get it out. Hold on. All right, let me get it out. Hold on.
Let me mute this.
You can run it if you're ready, or you want me to do it.
Run what? It's already on.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying the intro. That's all.
Oh, all right. No problem. What's going on, everybody, kins and friends of the African Ethiopian race? Tonight we got a nice little special show about about spirit beings and those who control them, and the fact that some spirit beings like to assume the identity of those that are creative, those that are liberators, those that are actually doing things in order to make their race a better race. So tonight is going to be a nice classic um show about that. And even though I'm the host, the main person in this show gonna be Tarnoon. He gonna be really putting the sledgehammer to some of these spirit beings that like to not be themselves and be humble enough and be grounded in understanding what their job is as far as their space in the race. You understand? So my name is Anut Bunu Nupu. I definitely am a member of the African race because I definitely grow kinky hair on my head by nature. Um, and I have a lot of things that have, has happened ever since we went live. Um, I got the Herbatroff water. I don't have it in here with me now, but the next time we go live, I bring out the socks. I bring everything out so that we can advertise. But tonight, because I'm tired, we're gonna make it. I'm gonna make my intro quick, and I'm gonna pass it off to Tarnoon.
All right, true meant the cosmic peace in war times. Elite, elect, and innocent kins and friends of the Ethiopian African race worldwide. Um, like the saying goes from the nature books, Africa is wherever that Ethiopian is in his right mind, his or her right mind. And so that being the case, my name is Tar Kenu Nupu. I represent the bladder of the Ethiopian race, which part of their job is to flush out toxins and whatnot, and that's exactly part of our purpose here. And even though we will be speaking about a member of the Ethiopian African race, partly because this person that we're going to be speaking about is not uh, fully Ethiopian, if you could just look at the hair texture. But again, this is going to be dealing with basically this is, even though the title of this you can see is You Are Not Afroo Oonoo, and this is also, it will be subbed the Ripu Kill Shot Kyrie Gangrene Chronicles Part 4. So, and that will continue on until further notice. Um, I stumbled upon something that he had wrote a while back, and so I wanted to address that, even though with our uh, incurring delusional beef coming from his side of things. We're going to use his particular thing that he wrote as a teaching tool and a teaching moment to show you that people indeed, such as himself, are suffering from mental delusion of grandeur, just like Dr. York and the rest of everybody else. We just want to let that be known. Like I said, we're just going to make sure everything is going to be laid out in its proper context. We're going to try not to be too long about it. I just want to say true mental cosmic peace to the chat. And so we can get to that. Manute, you check your email because I sent you the link to it. So we can kind of go through that and take our, you can jump in whenever you feel like it. So just let me know when you're there. Cause you gotta.
All right. So you want me to screen share that particular thing?
No, I'm a screen share and we'll go through it. Just when you want to chime in, just let me know. We just go in a little bit. Just let me know when you found it.
Yeah, that's the one with his Google page.
Yeah, but you see the picture with the hand with the. If you scroll down, it should say everything in nature is about balance, and right to the left, it should be the June 1st, 2017.
Yeah, wait, I see July 4th, June 1st. Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna screen share. Just give me a second. All right, let me try. Did it? It look like it's still on the same thing. Hold on.
You got the introduction to the nature.
Yeah, that's not what I wanted to show for some reason. I don't know why is this. That's not what I wanted to show. All right, let me try this. Let me try this again. Like I don't know why this. I don't know, this thing is acting up. Wait a minute. Let me try this again. Tell me if you can see it now.
Yeah.
All right. So this is his Google Plus page, Ripu Uno Nupu. And we just want to break a couple of things down, make a couple of points. And like I said, Ken, whenever you want to, just let me know. All right, so what we're looking at here, it said this video proves that the spirit guard Ray Harakti, had Kyrie Green on the right track to revolve in his name Omni. So what we need to do first of all is deal with this Ray Harakti situation. All right, Ray Harakti is actually one of the names of actually the chief sun god actually of our local sun called Ripu, ancient times called Ra, Ray. There's many different titles. Horus, Harakti, all these different type of names. So the thing is, I wanted to just point that out first. Let me see here. Okay, let me go to the 9 ball. And let me hit that. Just give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull out because where it first pops up is in the 9 ball book. 9 ball count 3. No, 9 ball, yeah, count 3, number 12. So give me a second. Let me pull that up. Did the channel, did it change yet, or is it still on there?
It's still on on the Google page.
Okay, hold on. 9 ball count 3, number 12.
Man, so this is the spirit talking. This is crazy.
Yeah, this what people need to understand with
the spirit. So the spirit is writing and talking. Jeez. This is delusion.
Yeah, this is serious mental delusion. And people need to understand that this is like, again, all this is happening because, again, like we was trying to tell these people, you should mind your business, because every time you bother those of us who are actually doing something, they end up getting exposed every time, and it always is worse than what they trying to do to us. All right, so I'm finna switch it. Let me Google share this one more time. Let me, let me know when you see.
Yeah, was it part of the 9 ball?
Yeah, if you read, all right, it's a number 11 going into 12, but I'm gonna start right here. And so we also reiterate, white people are ghost people because their spiritual origin is ghost, but their physical origin is the Phoenician and Indian races. We again repeat, for further information on this subject, see booklets known as the Bible Interpretation and Explanation, written by Amanu Barakabatar, one of the scientists who write these booklets in the 9 ball. Hold on. It said number 12 where when I'm lost my place. Give me a second. Hold on. Hold on. My wrist 9 ball 3. Number 12. All right, hold on. Let me pull it up. No. All right. All right, number 11 right here. We'll start again from up here. It said, of course, the Caucasian race is the white people because ghost is white. We also venerate white people are ghost people because their spiritual origin is ghosts, but their physical origin is the Phoenicians and Indian race.
You're not screen sharing.
It's not?
Mm-mm.
Hold on. My bad. Sorry about that. That should be it right there.
Yeah, sharing now.
All right, cool. For further information on this subject, see booklets known as Bible Interpretations, Explanations, written by Amanubu, the reincarnation of the sun god Ray Harakti, the teacher of the scientists who write these booklets, the Nine Ball. Now, why is this important? Because we already have confirmed that Afroo Oonoo was actually the true Amanubi Rakapata at this time, which this book was written in the 70s, as well as the Bible interpretation books was written in 66 and put out in 67, and booklet 2 was put out in 68. So we already know this. So what this means that Afroo Oonoo actually had the spirit sun god Ray Harakti. However, Afroo Oonoo did not give praise to his spirit being, nor did his spirit cross the boundaries and start stating I, me, doing all of this, because in noon science, we know better than that. We know that spirit beings are tricky and elusive, and if the spirit is not with you, it definitely is against you in certain points and times. All right, so now so now we're looking at what Mr. Green is already stated, that he's incarnated with the sun god Ray Harakti. And this is pure ignorance, because number one, he has to prove that. But the same way we told Nuwapians that York was not the Abanu Barakabatar, and York never ever used the term that said he had a spirit god, sun god by the name of Ray Harakti. Never. York always used other names, Tahuti, Tharp, Murdoch, all these different ones, but York never used the name Ray Harakti as a spirit incarnated. And those who've been around long enough can tell you that that's a fact. So that was just the first point I just wanted to make. That's where the first time Ray Harakti pops up in the writings that Amanu Rakwatar put out, which we know is Afroo Oonoo. And these writers that are speaking in this particular quote is Gipu and Sipu. Them was his two main companions the whole time that they were around each other. So that's who's speaking is Gipu and Sipu, who are those who care, because there's only three. All right, so what we want to do now is just go and get a little background. Let me see. On Ray Harakti, just a little bit, so you can see what I'm talking about. Do I need to screen share or did it change? Anoop.
Got it on mute.
Oh, did it change?
No, nothing changed yet.
All right, I'm doing it now. Tell me if you can see that.
All right. Yeah, it changed.
Cool. Again, now, because this is like a double, triple fold situation we got going on. So now this is also prove, again, we see the same word again. Now we're gonna just do a little background from the nature of nature, because now we're gonna connect the writings from the Nine Ball as well. So let's just look at this right here. It said, listen to reason. Let's take a look at the setting of the Garden of Eden, Africa and Asia 6,000 years ago. Pantheism, including Sabiism, was the ruling spiritual science, and the head of the pantheon was four main gods. So people were talking about the gods instead of one god. The main spirit gods were the sun god, earth god, moon god, and underworld god, and their consort goddesses. The king of the Garden of Eden was a reincarnation of the lion god Re Harakti, also called Hamakis and Apidemek, who is statued by the great Sphinx at Giza in Africa. Some leading adherents, like priests and nuns of King Amenubi, the reincarnation of the sun god Re Harakti, were required to maintain celibacy, abstinence from marriage and sexual pleasure similar to that of Roman Catholic priests and nuns of the day at this writing. Abstinence from sexual pleasure for the sake of morality and public well-being. Let it be, remember, always let it be known. All right, another point that I want to make is York, and this is, like I said, I'm not gonna be too long as far as on this because this ain't really about York, but I'm gonna throw this in there anyway. Whenever York talked about the Garden of Eden, he never mentioned Ray Harakti. He never taught on that. He never even said anything about a king ruling the Garden of Eden, and he changed the direction and the location of the Garden of Eden many times. He said it was in Africa one time, then he said it was in Iraq, then he said it was in Asia, it was another Eden, and the names he used that were ruling the so-called Garden of Eden, he made it into a small enclosed garden. But the Bible interpretation as well as the nature of nature both tell you that the Garden of Eden in this case was Africa and Asia. All right. Now, one of the things that we need to understand is that, you know, these spirits have a certain kind of nature. And this particular sun god was also involved with the King Amenubi back then that dealt with abstinence and staying away for sexual pleasure. So we know that Mr. Green definitely wasn't incarnated with the sun god because this dude here, we got him on record sucking toes and having wild loose sex, not like a porn star or nothing, but I'm saying, but from me personally, I know that him and Thomas could not control themselves sexually and was riding around in his white Corolla, picking up chicks and going to the motel. So there's no way he had the sun god Ray Harakti, who was part of, you know, abstaining from sex. And it's a fact that Afroo Oonoo didn't have any children on top of that. So he had to be in control of his sexual self for him not to produce any children. And to write this type of information, he had to be in contact with great information. So just off of, if we judging things based upon the type, again, if you get a spirit that like York had that likes to have sex with men and women, that right there in noon science in children, that is moon spirits, which is a hermaphrodite. So what York did went right in line with the type of spirit that he had. So if you use this type of reasoning, this type of spirit that an individual has, and if you can identify the type of spirit that you have, then we can identify the origin and its nature. But of course, we know Afroo Oonoo, rest in power, was sexually active because he was married. But the book tells you here, it didn't say that King Amenubi was abstinent. It just said that the priests and nuns were. Because you can't be a king and not put your seed out there. That's part of being a king, is to keep reproducing. So we're using reasoning here. So again, we're dealing with this particular, we're trying to break down some of the things that if a person was incarnated with Ray Harakti, certain things come from that. You want to add something on before we go to the next one? So we dealing with, you know, just trying to pinpoint, you know, little things that come with being incarnated or possessed by a particular type of spirit.
I mean, you broke it down. You broke it down eloquently, man. That was good. I wasn't even thinking along those lines. That, you know what I'm saying? It, and like you said, the type of spirits that people have, you know, you can tell whether it's a sun spirit or a moon spirit, like you said, just based upon their sexual preference.
Right.
We know who they're possessed. We know who they're possessed by.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So if you see someone that's homosexual, or, you know, we know that automatically they're possessed by moon spirits. But that's not like, like you said, that's not to say that only sun spirits, are abstinent or
Right.
anything of that nature. That's not what you're saying. What you're saying is that they have some type of ability to control their sexual urges.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And that don't mean that you just not having sex. That's not what we're saying. And like you said, they do it in a loose way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it goes down the line. You could have a moon spirit, you could have a underworld spirit, which is worse than a moon spirit.
Mm-hmm.
You could have a earth spirit, which is in between moon and sun spirit. So, it's a lot of things that take place when it comes to spirits and spirit beings, but there's much more information that comes with being a sun spirit, not just sex. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? It's definitely not just sex, because you could have as a matter of fact, the sun got 8 wives. So if you think that he's not engaging with 8 women, then you must be fooled. That means you have to provide for these particular women in a sexual manner as well, because part of the nature books say that if you are to take on these women, you have to also take on their sexual urges. So if you got a woman with a high sex drive, you kind of got to take care of that.
Well,
You understand?
right.
That's what the nature book says, that you must be able to satisfy them in that manner. And we know that everybody doesn't have the same sex drive, and that doesn't mean that because you a sun spirit and your woman has a high sex drive that you're not supposed to actually, please her. And we know that the sun, like I said, got 8 wives. You know what I'm saying? And our sun is the highest form of intelligence in our solar system. So this is not to deter somebody from saying, oh, well, you having a lot of sex, so that means you're not a sun spirit. No, that's not what we're saying. What we're saying is that it has to be in an orderly fashion, like the nature books say. If you are going to take on a woman, number one, let it be your wife. You understand what I'm saying? She has to, and wedded to you, or at least committed to you, in order for you to take on those activities. And once you take on those activities, nobody can tell you how to have sex with your wife. You understand what I'm saying? And that's personally, that's nobody's business. But like you said, if you riding around the motels and sucking toes and stuff, that's not sun mentality.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? With your wife, that's your business. You know what I'm saying? But you riding around in motels and stuff like that with random women,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So if that's your wife, then trust me and you don't have no argument in this. You know what I'm saying? Because that's his wife. He could do whatever he pleased with his wife. That's between them, and they close doors. But since something like that is occurring and you claiming to be a sun spirit, then there's a whole different story. And you gotta be, especially when you claiming to be someone as great as Afroo Oonoo. So let's, let the show keep on rolling.
All right, cool. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna use the books and we're gonna use the reasoning from that, because what we're doing is trying to establish character key points spiritually, because the nature book has laws. One dealing with blasphemy, when you line on reason, energy, spirit, beings, male or female, and human beings attributes, whether you're boosting it up to make them look greater than they are, or you doing the opposite, or downgrading, energy, reason, energy, spirits, male and female, or human beings, or person, place, and thing. So what he's doing is making a claim, and what we're doing is using the information to actually look at, okay, if you claiming to be this particular sun spirit, which we know for a fact that's not true, but we just want to do this for those who may be around a lot of people who make all these different type of claims, like York and many other people claim to be a lot of different people or spirits from different places. Some say extraterrestrials. You'll find this in many different groups that have claims to have some type of knowledge, or they claim they from the past. Other groups claim they have portals that these beings speak through, all this different type of stuff. But we want you to know that this happens on every level. And so anybody in Noon that's claiming these claims, we have to use what the book say. You have to use, they have to be checked out with sound right reason. This is a form to do that. All right, so we're going to go to the next one. Let me see. Did it change? Okay. Did you see page 128?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just starting from at the top. It says sin is an ancient name of the moon god connected to Caucasian Jews by Sinai, meaning mountain on the moon, and connected to members of the Mongolian race by Sino, meaning of or pertaining to Mongolians by race. Eve the nuns, now having powerful sex urges all the time because of the potent sex stimulants, persuaded Adam, the priest, to have sexual intercourse with them by giving the priest the same kind of sex stimulants in their food which they, the nuns, were using in their diet and exposing their feminine curves. Adam did participate with Eve in the carnal knowledge of the tree of good and evil, which was forbidden by the celibacy commandments of the sun god Re-Harakti. Okay? King Amenubu, who was the reincarnation of the son of the god Re-Harakti, knew what had occurred by this. Check this out. Spirit and mental telepathy, as well as having been told, and he did visit the temples of Ptah, the father of all, for verification and confirmation. King Amenubi and many of his Sabius helpers were members of the Ethiopian race, let it be remembered. Now, that's me rubbing my hands together.
I hear. Now, about to start a fire.
Now, sir. All right. Now let's go into this right here. So now, if he indeed is incarnated with the sun god Re-Harakti, why hasn't he confirmed the Adam and Eve and the priests and nuns and where they come from? That'd be the first question. Where exactly did the priests and nuns come from, and where did they go? That's the first thing.
You need to answer all these questions since you already know.
Right. My bad. I put in the wrong thing. Hold on. Let me know when did the screen change?
I'm still on 128. I'm looking at.
All right, cool. Let me change it up. Hold on. Because see, this is what I'm saying. It's a lot of little things that little quote just said. And so we're going to have to ask these questions if what this person's saying is true. Let me know when the screen changed.
All right, went to the video, I think.
Let me know when you see the one with the number 9. Okay, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now, this is a video that me and you put together a while back. You see what this is? See the date? April 29th, 2017. And in this video, for those who haven't, go back and watch this. It's everything is put together in 3 parts. And if you go to the 3rd part of this video, right, it goes into the Adam and Eve and the nuns and all that stuff. Right? And if you go, let's see, I'm gonna go down a little something, like right here. Right here. This is where we start going into validating what Afroo Oonoo said about the Adam and Eve group being priests and nuns. The same thing, again, York had nothing to do with this. His answer for this particular topic changed many times. Those who know from back in the day to up now, what they went and took the same subject and put them together, you will see that none of this stuff is consistent. That's what a lie is. All right. So with this, me and Anoop did some research, and I'm just letting it play. I'm just going to show a little something, and then we're going to get on to the next thing. And we did this here, we showing you historical references. Because see, if he was incarnated with the, he would already knew this. But we know that he didn't know this. We know that he had no knowledge, and he still didn't know because he doesn't have a spirit. Now, this is somebody y'all need to go look up. His name is Lawrence Waldo. And he put out a book, this book right here, The Phoenician Origins of the Britons, Scots, and Anglo-Saxons. And in this book actually is information that supports what Afroo Oonoo was saying. Even though this information was put out before Afroo Oonoo put out the BIAE, the point is Afroo Oonoo was already born with Nupu in his mind, and he had the sun spirit there with him, who was actually there at the time that the events took place. But Afroo Oonoo still had to go out and do all this reading and researching to put this stuff together. So this right here is showing you that the Phoenicians is the ones that the Caucasian race came out of. So again, for those who want to know more about that, who have the nature of books and all of that, who's trying to figure out the historical support of the Adam and Eve group, just go to this video and just, watch it all the way through. When you get to the third part, it goes into all of that. All right, so let me get back to the other thing that they were saying. I just wanted to put that on record because these ignorant Negroes, they say things and they provide no proof, but just logos. That's all they provide. Now, the next question we would ask Mr. Gang Green is, what was the celibacy laws, sir? Since you the sun god incarnated, what was the celibacy laws in Africa, which we know that King Amanubi was over there in what it was Egypt, but he went and read.
He was he was Manu to the Hindus.
Right. But I'm saying I want him to give us the answer. We ain't gonna give him the answer yet.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I'm asking him, what were the celibacy laws to the priests and nuns because they was Hindu, and what was the celibacy laws to the sun god in Africa, which is Egypt? What are the celibacy laws, and how many were there? So you have to answer these questions, because if the spirit is truly indeed with you, you should have been already putting this information out, right? So that's what we need to tell us. What was the celibacy? What were all of the celibacy commandments, and what were they to the priests and nuns? Because they were Hindus. So that means they had to have the celibacy laws in their language. So what language was it, right? And what exactly, how many were there, and how many did they break? Now, it's then he said, King Amanubi, who was the reincarnation of the god Reharakti, knew what had occurred by what? Spirit and mental telepathy, as well as having been told. And when he did visit the temples of Ptah, the father of all for verification. So we know the temples of Ptah is where the new. Do you remember that?
Temples of Ptah.
Yeah.
That's the my bad, because I'm doing stuff while I'm what you call it.
I think that's in Karnak, right? In Memphis,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the question is, can he read what's on the walls in the temple of Ptah? Has he been there? And if not, has the spirit given him mental visions and translated what the temples of Ptah say about that? And exactly where in the temples of Ptah that it tells you about this story. Because it said that's for verification and confirmation. That means that King Amenubi, even though he was given mental telepathy and the spirit being, he also had to go and check it out on hard evidence, which is what Nooney supposed to do. Or anybody that's dealing with intelligence for that matter, even if somebody give you word of mouth.
He didn't even
shoot. Go ahead.
Afroo Oonoo didn't even trust his spirit. He had to go find out.
That's exactly right. So that means you got 3 ways to get something, but you can get it mental. So the question I'm asking Mr. Gang Green, where did the mental telepathy come from? Because they say the spirit told him, all right, but where did the mental telepathy, whose mental was giving him telepathic information of what took place? Who was that? Because the spirit is separate. The mental telepathy, as well as being told, so there's 4 things going on. Who told him? Because he was the king, so the kings don't just walk around, because it's dangerous unless they have to be in certain instances. So if he ruling 2 continents. So somebody had to come back and tell him. Who was that? Then he said he had many of his Sabius helpers were members of the Ethiopian race. So that means who were they? Who were the Sabius helpers? The spirit was there, so it should have all these names for confirmation. Crickets. But he Ray Harakti though.
Should have the research.
Right. You supposed to, because we're gonna need confirmation. So now we got a couple of things already down. Why haven't he told everybody else what the Adam and Eve and the priests and nuns were? He don't know who exactly was who or what, because he ain't told nobody. He don't know what the celibacy laws are. He don't know how many it was. We do. We know exactly what was going on. But since he's supposed to be what he's claiming to be, he need to answer these questions. All right, we're gonna go to the next one. Let me know when you see number 179.
Yeah, I see it. I just got it on mute.
Okay, all right. Listen to reason. The story in the Caucasian Bible concerning the flood of Noah happening since the birth of Cain, the Caucasian race, is an interpolation, a literal injection from time immemorial designed to cover up the fact that Cain still exists and that Cain, the Caucasian race, is the predominant and oppressive force of the Caucasian Bible, helped by the earth god Dagon. Again, those who had the Bible interpretation explanation, book 1 and 2, said the same thing, that Cain is short for Caucasian. All right. York stories don't match up. He done changed the story 50,000 times. So he's automatically out anyway. All right. Then it says the moon god Sin and the underworld god Pluto, the flood of Noah occurred approximately 18 million years ago. It was part of the 6.6 West Cataclysm. The sun god Amun-Ra, Re Harakti, was replaced by the god Horus as the celestial firepower, and thereby one of the mountains of Moses called Horus, meaning mountain of the sun. So Re Harakti was replaced by Horus. So that means that Horus, look what it says here. The sun god Horus is the what? Mythological son of Osiris, Pluto, according to legend. Therefore, the sun god Re-Harakti of the Ethiopian race had to fade in the background and become known as Horus. So why is he saying he's Re-Harakti if the book say he became known as Horus? Because this is giving you a different thing now. See, it ain't even lining up. And according to those who study Kemet, Horus is Heru, the son of Osiris. But he doesn't seem to understand that. Because Re-Harakti was replaced with Horus. So the question is, what happened to Re-Harakti after all of that? Because they say he was replaced as the celestial firepower. But does he know what that means? He doesn't understand. He's gonna have to answer these questions because he's Re-Harakti, remember? This is what you have to answer these questions when you start making these kind of claims. Because I ain't trying to give nothing away. He need to explain himself. Because the moon god Sin Mercury, the traditional messenger of the gods, had taken over spiritual leadership for the first 4,000 years of the moon cycle, and Osiris, who was actively alongside of the moon god, took over spiritual leadership for the last 2,000 years of the moon cycle. Look what it say. What it say after that? It says spirit beings can be what? Tricky and elusive. But he talking about the spirit Re-Harakti. How? You can't see no spirit unless it want to be seen.
That's part of being tricky and elusive, is trying to take the identity of those who are the true ones. That's being tricky and elusive.
Exactly. This is why we named it You Are Not Afroo Oonoo. Let's continue. All right. You see here, talk about the sun gods. Let me know when you see it change. I think it changed. I see it.
Like 202 or 203?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
All right, it said the sun gods, individual spirit powers are the true stars of the universes, and they are countless together with their consort goddesses. So the next question will be, what is the wife of Re-Harakti? What's her name? Back then and right now. Can you answer that, Mr. Gangrene? Uranus, Ta, Jupiter, Helios, Horus, Elyon, Brahma, Phobos, Dunbala, Eli, as in the Caucasian Bible. Eli is short for Helios, and Elyon, Marduk, Allah, Zeus, etc. The sun gods and god sons, the physical sons themselves, are 9 ether powers doing the top half of the order circle and 6 ether powers doing the bottom half of the same circle. The sun gods and goddesses are coordinated and kept united by the physical sons, the god sons themselves, by way of the brain new gods and goddesses already given in this caption. Brain nukes cause matter to be magical and magnetic when conditions are right for unity and creativity. Let it be, remember, always let it be known. So again, he got to answer these questions. He got to answer these questions. Now, let's go back up here again. It says, wait for it to change. All right. Listen to reason. What may be called the second fall of gods and goddesses took place 6,000 years ago when the Caucasian race was ghostized from the Phoenician and East Indian races. The so-called fallen angels are the moon god Mercury, also called Sin, Siva, Set, Hermes, Thoth, Anubis, etc. The earth god Dagon, also called Leviathan, Geb, Sobek, Poseidon, Neptune, Dagon, the dragon, the serpent, etc., etc. And the underworld god Pluto, also called Osiris, Yama, Hades, Dis, Anubis, Ghost, Judge of the Dead, etc. Because they rebelled against the sun god Re-Harakti, also called Ta-Harakti, and created the Caucasian race via Adam and Eve 6,000 years ago. All right, so again, he have to answer these questions. How did this take place? Oh, I forgot. Oh, I forgot. What was the name of that one you did on it? You did a class on that. What's the name of them videos?
I had got cut off. What you said?
What was the videos you did when we was talking about how the moon god and the Caucasian race got extracted? You did a
I think that one was the one about where did they come from, the origin
the
of the
origin of the Caucasian. That's it. There you go right here, the origin, the Mother's Day, the Caucasian, the origin, and the smack circle of healing. There you go right there. So again, if he was indeed Ray Harakti incarnated, he's supposed to been explaining how did it take place. Hold on, let me share the screen again. Let me know when it changes. I think it's finna change. Hold on.
Yeah, it changed to the video.
You see that? You actually see the video?
Yeah, I got the I see the video with me on the front.
With the veganomic shirt?
Yeah.
All right. Right here. For those who are watching and listening who will come later on, go to either to the page you on right now, the Noon Question and Answers, or even my page and look up. Hold on. This is the Caduceus. My bad. Let me go back. Here you go. I'm sorry. Here we go right here. The origin of the Caucasian race. My bad. Wrong video. But that was a good video too. This is the video right here that was published on April the 18th, 2018. So this is almost a year ago. And in this video, Anoop breaks down the scientific part of how the Caucasian actually got here scientifically. So the thing is, again, what if he had all of this particular spirit God who was there, he's supposed to have been doing this. Why is Anoop sitting there and not him? Who has this type of knowledge and sits on it? It makes no sense. Nothing he's saying makes any sense. We're gonna move on to the next thing. Because it's gonna add up to what I'm talking about.
And I ain't Amanubi, but like the Amanubi said, we will be able to have his powers. So we see who can actually reflect or actually, you know, fulfill those powers that he spoke about. That eventually everyone will be able to have the powers that Amanubi has. But we see who already has been reflecting those powers. And it damn sure ain't the ones that's sitting back and not providing the information like you just said.
Right, because that's one of the things. Because the book does say that. Oh, let me see if I can put that up here in the present. It's in the BIAE when that was said, actually. Matter of fact, use the word. Let me type in the word retrace. And then it should be turning. It should be changing.
Yeah, it's constantly changing. I just don't. I guess you're gonna find out exactly where it's at.
Did it change? Did the screen change?
It says retrace.
Number 5.
Number 5.
Cool. This is out of the Bible interpretation explanation. Say just as there are forces that can foretell the future, there are also forces that can retrace the past. And Abenubi Rakapatar, writer of the Bible interpretation and explanation, has what? Accesses to all forces necessary to retrace and foretell, and this fact made these books possible.
In the store with the warrant.
Sorry.
One authorized and appointed by the force of nature is given connection and access to the powers of the sun and moon and powers of the planet Earth, that he may take his place in the sun, meaning in the universal affairs and all his kind, who are able to learn to understand and accept universal knowledge and facts as disclosed by nine ether, who also be given the same connections and powers for realization and maintenance of liberty, justice, equality, rightness, and survive beyond Armageddon, the war or showdown between right and wrong. So again, he has displayed none of that. Any of you who are keeping up with what we're doing, trust me, I know y'all may not understand some of the videos that I'm doing against certain individuals, but all of this is a part of Noon. The same way Sabiism is a part of Noon. This is a part of Noon. And we're pointing out what these supposed to have. Just like we know that Nawapians are not following the correct person because they don't have any of these gifts. Because if York was him, he would have foreseen he would have been in trouble just off of the stuff he would have seen before the head of time, because this is what the nine ether predicts. Like he said here, the force Rockabatar access to all forces to deal with the past, present, and the future. That's how these books were made possible. That's how the nature books were made possible. And that's how the books we're writing and the creations, certain things like what Anute brought forth is the Nodiac, the herbal trough water, the different type of creation you're seeing. All of this is being done right in front of you with no magic wand being waved. Pure reading, researching, taking turpentine and sulfur, and saying the memorandum as much as possible and conversating with Nupu as many times that a person can. These are basic fundamentals that we were told to do. This is easy. So again, we ask, does Mr. Gangrene, has he had any of these things? No. He hasn't produced nothing, because I showed you the nouveau pou that he claimed he made, he didn't make. He stole that and he put it out wrong. So this is showing you that he has no powers that are extending. His information and his activities are descending. He doesn't have any of these things, and neither do the Wapians. We're just showing y'all what it says. You'll be given the same connections and powers for realization and maintenance of liberty, justice, and equality. These people that we talking about in these videos are not about maintaining liberty, justice, and equality, and rightness and survival beyond Armageddon, because their interpretation of liberty and justice and equality, they think it has nothing to do with fighting. When you have trying to be liberated, like our race, we're at the bottom of all other races. So a fight has to take place if you're trying to get free, mentally, then spiritually, because the spirits we got are the worst. So you got to fight for your mind and fight against the spirit that you got just to get physical, to be able to make moves. So again, this is not to berate Mr. Gangrene or his spirit. This is just using Noon to show you exactly how people are not paying attention because they don't see things. So I'm going to go back to this little thing that he was doing. We're going to go back to his writings. It didn't change, right? Let me change it back. Let's see if it changed. I think it's changing. Give it another second. All right, let's continue. Now, he goes further on. This is the spirit talking. He said, I had Kyrie Green on the right track to revolve his name Omni, come from the word omnipotent. Okay? You look at the word omnipotent, you can see it contains the word I'm nine potent. Sick. This is what you call pseudo. You can hear the sound, but that's not true. Because it doesn't contain I'm 9 in there. Because the letters are different. Omni and I'm 9 are not the same. These are two words or two statements. Because omni means all. I'm 9 meaning I'm the person, individual, and 9, right? And it also comes from omnipresent. As you can look at the word omnipresent, you can see that it also contains the words I'm 9 in the present. Pseudo. And then watch the spirit. I'm 9 signs, and all of the Ethiopians 9 signs as well. This is ridiculous. A person cannot be a science. We established this when I told the Wapians there's no way that a person can be a science. You cannot. You can study a science. You can learn from a science. You can teach a science, but it's no way impossible for a person to be a science. So his spirit just wrapped everybody up in the lie, because you would never see. The only time you see science, as far as noon science belonging to something or someone, would be Nupu, because noon is the science of sound right reason, because sound right reason is intelligence and mental energies, and they use some of that intelligence to be confined and written in the English language so that we may read it, get it, and understand it. So noon at this point are words in the book that contain many, many messages. So if he and us are 9 signs, then we should be able to read from ourselves and not need no books. But this is the sickness that we're going through because of the spirit being in its foolishness. All right. You want to add anything before I go further? All right. He said that he said the Ethiopian is 9 signs as well, not just myself by myself, but all those Ethiopians are 9 by origin. That part is true. And the reason why I say this of pygmy, Ta'ite sometimes spelled with the letter P, which is silent, which is pronounced Ta, but can be pronounced without the letter P, which would be Ta or Ta, was the original physical top part of the smack circle of order. However, moving along to another word, see, now it jumped off. All this is just a repeat of what was in nature book. Now the spirit going to jump off, and watch the lies for the tale. Then it says the original physical gods and goddesses on the top part of the smack circle of order. However, moving along to another word that was mentioned in his video, which was in the Nature book 3, the word was omnibasal. Right? Now he's trying to connect omnipresent to this. Ray give inspiration and revelation to Kyrie Green to start using the name Omni. You see this foolishness? The name Omni in his given name that he was using. The reason why I did this is to realize that I was reincarnated inside of you later on. I gave you inspiration. Hold on. And revelation on the name already being revolved in the nature books. The name would revolve into Oonoo. All right, let's start right here. First of all, Omni and Omnibasal are is 2 words, and we already went through what this was. But he doesn't know, and you can't put them 2 together. He's doing what York does. See, this is York's spirit click, that how Nawapians saying things because it sounded saying like they took the word Sabiism, which is a science that they don't know nothing about. We do. And then took the word Sabian, which was a group of so-called black Arabs that was speaking a dead Arabic script, and thinking that Sabiism, which is star worship and star honoring, is similar to what a Sabian is, but which is a group of people. Again, because it sounds the same, doesn't make them related. This is the same type of foolishness he does. Again, ask him to give you the origin of omnibausal outside of book 3. Can he validate omnibausal? He can't. He can't do it. But look what he says. He said it revolved, the inspiration and revelation of the name already been revolved in the nature books. The name would revolve in the Oonoo. But again, Oonoo in universal language means one. Omni means all. Please tell me, how can you revolve something into the other? No, that's like taking something, like saying taking Ray and you revolving it into Ripu. Or you taking Gi, which is dealing with the prefix for Earth, Geo or Gaia, and you revolve that into Gipu. Or Sin, an ancient name for the moon, gets revolved into Sipu, because there has to be relatability. It can't be you taking one portion of something and then adding it with something else, and there's no relativity. It's like taking a child from a whole nother race or animal and putting it in a human family and saying that that's your descendant. Because the name of the family in the animal saying, because I got a family name whose last name is Bear, B-A-R-E, and you go get a damn bear from the woods and say this bear and this human last name Bear are related because the names sound the same. This is the ignorance, the spiritual ignorance at that. I almost feel bad for them, but not really. Because this is what they deserve for not following sound right reason. Now we continue. And then that's when the realization hit him that I have reincarnated into his body. That is why I'm using the title. Look at this, y'all. King Nubi Ripu Unu Noon Nupu. So this is the spirit God reincarnated that is inside of Kyrie Green. This is, again, this is the sickness of these spirits. This is the sickness. Now, we already put out a video a couple years ago. Right here. See right here what it say? Nubi Ripu, aka Afroo Oonoo, reads from the audio tape part 1. We put this out 3 years ago. All right? You can look at it. March 13, 2015. All right? Now, if you go back into my channel, right? We have 3 videos on Royal, who owned the bookstore, Rest in Power. That was a good man. I'm glad we got a chance to meet him, and he gave us a little bit of information that explained that one of the names that Afroo Oonoo had was Nubi Ripu, and he used that name when he read from the nature books on the CD and the tape. So again, we jump back, and y'all can see this, right? It's an Afroo Oonoo business partner, Royal, for 15 years. So if you go and watch these videos, me and Anoop were there, and he gives us more facts where he talks about that. Let me see if I can play this real quick, just to add on to it. We got another exclusive. All right. Just let me know when it change again.
Yeah, I can see it. It's changed.
To Royal, give us more facts?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. We got another exclusive. All right. Royal has just confirmed that the voice on the tape is Afroo Oonoo. Nubi Ripu and Afroo Oonoo is the same person, right? Correct? Well, I know about Afroo Oonoo. As far as the voice on the tape. As far as the voice on the tape, that's Afroo Oonoo. Okay, and he used the name Nubi Ripu on that. On that. Okay, now, again, you go back, you see what this Negro said. He said he King Nubi Ripu. See, stealing identity. This is what makes spirit beings tricking and loose. This is the same thing that Mansalva was trying to do, impersonating Afroo Oonoo for years, still doing it. Joel Berkeley, aka Anova Noon Ray, Nupu, was calling himself Afroo Oonoo. This is why we fell out. Because there's no way we're gonna sit here and allow you to steal somebody else's name and identity, especially as somebody that done contributed as much as they have. What's the other guy that crazy? What his name was? Larry?
Mm-hmm.
What's Larry last name? You remember his other name?
Larry, I forgot, man.
Larry Zodok.
Oh
I think
yeah,
that was a follower of York. He stole my name. He stole Afroo Oonoo name. He stole York name and combined it all together. I mean, this is what these spirits are doing. They running around calling themselves other great people names and really think that what they're doing is okay. And it's not okay. It's not okay at all. It's not okay. This is the sickness. Again, Anu, you spoke on this earlier, and I think you should repeat that again about the king and all that stuff for him to prove these things. Because this is what we outlined, each thing we just outlined, King, Nubi, Ripu, Unum, Noon, and Nupu, these are separate, powerful titles that bring forth things when you adorn these type of names. If you could just touch on it a little bit, just a little bit.
with the well, first I think what also is that he doesn't even realize that he's repeating and I was supposed to do this a little while back. I remember you was telling me how, I need to do the video on breaking the names down. He doesn't even realize that Afroo Oonoo, Nubi Ripu, and Amadubi Reharakti are all the same names. They practically all mean the same exact thing. And he doesn't even realize that he's just throwing names together because they sound good, because he read it somewhere and it represented power. And this is what spirit beings do. Because they know that something represents power, they try to take that particular power and make people look at them as if they're that power. That's what trickiness and elusiveness is about. It's about taking titles that, number one, you can't even fathom to live up to, but yet you want people to believe that you are it. This is what York did. This is what a lot of the individuals that Tarnoon just named, this is what they did. They like to assume the identity of the person they can't even fathom to even live up to. So this is why they steal the information. They have no creativity. That's another thing. They can't create outside of what it is that they stole. Because if you're gonna steal a title like Nubi Ripu, Afroo Oonoo, all these different names, then show us your greatness. Because if somebody was to come forth and be like, yo, I'm Afroo Oonoo, I'm gonna be like, well, prove it. Prove it. Because the real Afroo Oonoo is gonna come forth with something powerful. They're gonna be like, yo, whatever it is that they create will be similar, if not better, than what he already brought forth. But I know it can't be better because the only thing you could do is create out. You can only create from what was already given, which is the mind of Nupu. So you can't get greater than Nupu unless you're gonna tell me that whatever it is you create is gonna be No Pole Noon, which is North Pole Noon, and you're not living there yet. You're not in that time period, and you're not living there yet. So, we gonna have to see when these people decide to come forth that they're gonna have to create. They have to be creative, create and be creative, and they have to live up to the titles that they want to take. You know, Anova took the what was it, Afro Upu?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so show us something. Show us something. I haven't seen anything from anyone besides myself, yourself, Kwipu, Nunet. We've got businesses geared around the science. You understand what I'm saying? Afroo Oonoo had businesses geared around the science, and they don't. That's another thing too.
Mm-hmm.
If show us the businesses that Afroo Oonoo brought forth. Kwipu about to put something together real nice about that. Afroo Oonoo wasn't just a person that dealt with writing the nature books. This man had businesses too. And the businesses lined up with the mentality. None of these Negroes got businesses. None.
Mm-hmm.
Does Kyrie Gangrene have a business?
Nothing but sucking toes. That ain't pulling in no green at all. That's just pulling.
Does Thomas have a business?
Nope. His business is beating women and sleeping with white girls.
None of them got businesses. The only one that I know of that got a legitimate business is what you call it, the one that got the phone joint down there in
Noosa.
Noosa got a business. I see what you call it, your Garu look like he trying to squeeze himself into some business aspect now that we done call him out.
He just did a whole testimony like a Christian about how he better stop smoking alcohol, smoking cigarettes and alcohol, drinking alcohol, and going to the club every week.
Yeah, he coughing his lungs out in the beginning of the video. He sound like he about to die before the video start.
But this is who they chose to represent them, though. So this is how you know that
the man,
they're judging us. Look at him. Now look at that mess.
Yo, he started out the video to you know,
it's like somebody who got damn emphysema. You got cancer from smoking. Yeah, I'm gonna stop, smoking, and I'm gonna start a health regimen. But your lungs is gone.
He's about to die.
You talking about a living health? This is contradiction, and I'm glad. Just let me know when you finish, because I found what I was looking.
I'm done. I'm done.
Then this right here, these two little things I want to do, so people who are watching who can understand what it is by he saying he incarnated with a spirit being, and that's who giving him inspiration and revelation. Cool. This is going to show exactly why individuals like this always end up in the hurt locker. Let me know. You see it when it changed, right?
Hold on. Hold on. I'm on the wrong screen. Your books.
It should say commandment laws at the top.
Yeah, commandment laws. Mm-hmm.
All right. You see, okay, it says we human beings, right? You see that?
Yeah, I see it. I see it.
All right. It said we human beings must let Noon, the father of the sons of Nupu, be our guide.
Now, hold on. I didn't mean to cut you off. But if you look at the first word, we human beings, remember in the beginning of what Kyrie was talking about, he said the spirit being was talking.
Mm-hmm.
The real Amanubi Ray Harakti not even calling himself a spirit being. He's saying we human beings. But continue.
Right. It said we human beings must let Noon. Is it showing?
Yeah, it's showing.
Because I'm looking on my phone to see if it's showing in the screen.
It's showing.
Okay, cool. All right, must be our guide, because what? Noon is designed to put nature knowledge in chronological order, and our minds in order along with it. Hence, do not let information confuse you anymore, because the aim and objective of the negative force of nature is to do just that. Keep us confused and confounded. Pronouncing the name Nupu often and 9 times or more, what it does, magnifies and unites 9 ether mind. That means we're helping unite 9 ether mind, and it says what? And 9 ether mentality acts as our what? You see that?
Our spirit being
And guide together with the positive forces or the side of the negative if you are a Nunabu. See, Nupu acts as our spirit guide. This fool saying he's being guided by the spirit. When the book clearly says Nupu acts as our spirit guide. Why? Because you can't trust them.
And it's not the spirit being. That's why it says the word acts, not
right.
that it actually is. It acts.
It acts. It's substituting because the spirit being is not in the favor of the human being, especially the Ethiopian race, because spirits are opposite to humans by nature, but especially if you're the African race at the bottom, it clearly tells you that. It tells you what you're supposed to be doing. This fool is glorifying being possessed by a spirit he don't know what kind it is. And walking around saying he King Nubi Repo. On top of that, you can't be serious, Negro. You stupid fool. This right here is going to really get him up out of here. Let's go into this real quick. There's no eternal life in the sense that a person has a personal soul that continues beyond the death of his or her physical body. It's coming out of the Bible interpretation. This is evidenced by the burning. And the spirits that existed long before the birth of the person and leave the body just before or at death are not interested in maintaining the individual's image, identity, personality, and memories, but their own identities and ways instead. And that's why whatever spirit he got is reinserting itself over him, because it's using I gave this person this and that, and it's I who am guiding him. This is no different than people playing with Ouija boards become trusting of the spirit to the point the spirit eventually takes over them. This is descending spirit possession. And if you don't think you should be very, very careful of this type of foolishness, you really are out your mind. But for those who are listening, who follow Sound to the best of their knowledge, wisdom, and ability, please be very aware of what you're hearing and seeing from the books. We are not twisting anything. We're keeping it right to the book. This is a warning. All right? It says, but their own identities and ways instead. Moreover, since spirits transmigrate from place to place and person to person, there will be many identities, personalities, and memories for them to maintain from the various persons through the years and centuries. All right, this is just one of the things. I'm just gonna jump around a little bit. Physical death of a person is the unity and completion of all deaths as an individual personality. An individual's ideologies and thoughts, if put in writing and action, may survive the death of the body and prevail. But this is not the person's physical mind or mentality. It is the works of his or her mentality for the mental. So I'm going to take this and check this out right here. This is a good one. Listen to reason. Third, the physical person is the body whose source is brain and reason. And the body always follows the dictates of the mind, unless interfered with by the psyche. The body which in this case includes the head and other extremities, was created by the brain and reason for survival and habitat for the brain, and be the physical tool of creation for the brain. Moreover, the body serves the same purpose for the psyche as it does for the brain. And if the mind and psyche, this is another word that the psychologists use, this is for the spirit being. The spirit is called the psyche of a person, are not congenial, meaning work together or compatible, there will be mental problems, including personality problems, because the base of the mind is the brain and the base of the psyche is the heart. Spirits need blood, and they get it by various means, including war and many other ways that people maim and kill themselves and others. The physical body is the sense of survival for the mind and the psyche. That's the spirit. So here we're identifying that this individual has mental problems because it's showing. He thinks he's somebody else. I'm trying to get to the last part because this is going to explain this right here. Let me get, I should be coming up on it. Hold on. Here we go right here. Now, he claims he Ray Harakti, right? You there, Ken?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. This he claims he Ray Harakti and all this other good stuff. Now, this is going to prove he's not Ray Harakti or whatever name the spirit is going by now that Afroo Oonoo had. Watch this. This is the People's Continuum. This is the Nature book 2, number 133. Listen to reason. The only beings without a doubt who have everlasting eternal existence are infinite space, infinite matter, and infinite time, because they never had beginning and could never end, even if they wanted to. All forms and formulas of almighty nature have beginning and must end eventually. As for eternal life for human beings, there is no life after death of the physical body, as explained in an earlier knowledge book written by Afroo Oonoo. All right, before I continue, another point I wanted to add. It's no way he can be Afroo Oonoo because the book says a person like Afroo Oonoo comes what? You heard me, Ken?
Yeah, what you say?
The book says Afroo Oonoo, a person like Afroo Oonoo comes what?
Every 72 million years.
Again, so how can he be Afroo Oonoo? That means two came. But the book says one comes every 72 million years. So how does he fit that in? That the books don't say two? Just to let them marinate on that. All right. Then it says the messenger and scribe for Nupu and Noon, in order to definitely determine for sure whether there can be life after death of the physical body, one must be able to definitely determine for sure what life is. And that presentation booklet written by Afroo Oonoo defines and describes life and death. However, if a human being becomes an incarnation of an original spirit, God and goddess, see? This is the ultimate kill shot right here. This right here is going to slap all the foolishness out of this fool. And hopefully he might just wake up. Now watch this. However, if a human being becomes an incarnation of an original spirit, God and goddess, which Ray Harakti is, a spirit god, who has eternal life, it is indeed possible for that spirit god or goddess to maintain the what? You see it?
Hold on, I was looking at something else. What you said now?
All right, it said it is indeed it's indeed possible for, it said if a person is a incarnation of original spirit god and goddess who is eternal life, it is indeed possible for that spirit god or goddess to maintain what?
Wait, maintain.
It's at the
You don't
bottom.
have to read it.
It's at the bottom of the page.
Oh, maintain the personality.
Right. And also what?
Memories.
Right. Of the person that he or she are incarnate in the flesh and blood of. If this happens, the human being is said to have eternal life because his or her what? Personalities and memories will be kept alive until the smack circle order reaches what? 0.6 east of the horizon of existence. That's 18 million years from now. So how the hell is Ray Harakti with you when Ray Harakti is with Afroo Oonoo and is going to keep his mind and keep his personality and memories alive for the next 18 million years? And Nupu is called the mental resurrectionist. So that means the spirit God has to be in line with Nupu, which pull things up and maintains balance. That spirit have to be in unification with Nupu as well. But this book, this quote clearly tells you if you are incarnation of an original, that duty of that particular spirit God after Nupu has advented, and if that spirit God or goddess is in line with sound right reason, that particular spirit God or goddess will maintain that memory and personality, and the mentality of that person will be maintained. So it's no way he is Ray Harakti incarnated, because Ray Harakti has been assigned to one already for the next 18 million years. So where in the world does he get this foolishness from? So that's all I wanted to break in, and I appreciate the king coming through with that. You wanted to throw something on the fire?
Nah, because you made an important quote, and I was trying to look for it, but I just can't find it right now. And the quote was that he wrote about the life and death in another knowledge book prior. And the first time that Afroo Oonoo speaks about life and death is in the Bible. Exactly. So this further proves that Afroo Oonoo did write the Bible interpretations and explanations, because he spoke about that prior as well. So it just further gives us more proof that he was the one that brought forth the Bible interpretations, because Nawapi is still under the assumption that he is the one that did this, but this is not the case. So
so yeah,
but that's all I gotta say. I gotta get my rest too. So
yeah, I know, right? So, but yeah, with that right there, just to show and prove that he definitely is being tricked by his spirit being, to not only trick himself but also to lie and try to get in there and be used by the spirit being to try to confuse other people about what the science noon is about, and about who Nupu is and who they're not. And again, Mr. Gang Green is definitely Zupu'd out and is a willing servant to follow sound wrong reason. Is why he putting dirty toes in his mouth and bacteria, and him and his crony Doubting Thomas, who I'm still coming for you, player. Don't think I forgot about you. Race Mixer, we ain't forgot about you. Right now, I'm doing what I'm doing right now to let people know that y'all are sick and y'all definitely need some serious spirit depossession. So that's it. I wanted to thank everybody that hung out with us. Nunette, Quipu, I think Kenneth Harvey is in the chat room, and whoever else is listening and watching. We out of here. True mental cause of peace and wartime.
True peace.